Thank you guys for coming out here. Thanks everyone in K-State for having us. I'm Austin Bontrager with Servitech. I work with the Servitech Expanded Premium Services. We handle the soil moisture, aerial imagery, some of the other precision ag things that Servitech offers in addition to the scouting, the soil sampling, and the things that we're better known for. So what you see in front of you here, we've actually got two different installations here of the Profiler, which is what we call our soil moisture monitoring system here. Got the telemetry box. In this case, we've got the wires running down here, and they're actually coming up these tubes and down into these WaterMark sensors. There's a 2 foot, a 3 foot, a 1 foot, and a 6 inch that you see right in front of you here. The way we put these in is with the backsaver probe. So what this does is it bores a slightly undersized hole compared to the diameter of this pipe, so we can make a nice tight fit without having to use a slurry, without generating any void spaces that would throw off any readings. So it's pretty simple stuff. These are not real expensive. They're not real bad to replace if you lose one or break one or something like that. But there's a lot of data behind these. The WaterMark sensors, there's been a lot of research, a lot of correlation with neutron probes and with actual soil moisture results to where we have confidence in what we're getting from the numbers on these. We don't have to hope that it's going to give us a good, accurate reading. We've got plenty of university research, UNL, K-State, showing that these work. So that's how these things work. One nice thing about the WaterMarks is what it's actually measuring is the pressure potential or the water potential of the soils around it. So a higher number means it's harder for the plant to pull the water out. A lower number means it's easier. And so based on that number and based on a texture analysis that we send into the lab, so when I'm pulling holes, when I'm putting a core to put this down in, I'm actually taking that soil, I'm putting that in a bag, and that goes off to the lab to tell you what your soil texture is. If you know the soil texture and you know the pressure potential of that soil, of the water, then you can say how many inches of available water are in that profile for the plant. So we're not just going off some arbitrary numbers, permittivity or capacitance or anything like that. What we're measuring is actually what we're able to report to the grower. How many inches of water is your soil away from its field capacity? What's its total field capacity in inches of water? Something that's going to make a lot more sense to them than just looking at lines on a graph or looking at those sorts of readings. So now I say that we do offer capacitance probes. There's some very coarse textured soils that do benefit from this because the WaterMarks don't work as well in them. So this is a HydraSCOUT. I know we also work with AquaCheck. You know, any of these SDI 12 probes like this we can work with. So this would be more of an auger and a slurry fit is how this would go in. I actually have one installed over here. What you're seeing is just the very top of the cap right here, this orange thing. So this is here. So we work with that. The boxes here, flip them open, wire them up on the inside. The customers, you do have an option to purchase the hardware. One-time cost, a very low connection fee for your cellular connection. Do the install yourself. Most of our customers don't opt to do that. If they're putting 1 or 2 of these in a year, they know they're not going to do as good of a job as an installer that's done dozens and dozens of these and really kind of learned the knack for getting them in. So most of our customers are actually having us put these in. So that's a service that we provide, the install, the extract, and they're going to get the data and they're going to get the recommendations that they need. The rain bucket here, tipping bucket, rain gauge, it's going to provide you real-time readings of this is probably similar to some other ones you've seen here. You can put this below your drops if you got real low drops, but you're going to get your irrigation, you're going to get your rainfall, something that you're going to get reported on the website. So here's the website. It's also available as an app. It's going to show up the same way. And what we start with here, we've got the weather data, real-time weather data. So something that we're going to be offering in the future is actually low-cost stations that you can put in the field without costing an arm and a leg to get you some measurements of what's going on. The rainfall, clearly you're getting that from the rain bucket here, so you're getting the actual rainfall, not just what the radar thinks that you got. So as we scroll down here, we've got the weather and the forecast here. Crop information, so the beginning of the year, you put in what the crop is, what the maturity, how many growing degree days it takes to get to maturity, and then this charts your progress. It automatically is calculating up those growing degree days for the appropriate crop, telling you how close you're getting to maturity, telling you approximately what growth stage you're in to help you out with your management decisions here. As we go down, pivot telemetry. So if you're a grower and you're making decisions, you're clearly going to be making decisions based on the soil moisture on what to irrigate, but you might already have the pivot running. You might want to know where it's at, what your gallons per minute, your flow rate that you're putting out. This is all important stuff. We don't think you should have to log into 5 different websites to view all of this. So right now I know that we're working with Valley and AgSense. We can bring that telemetry in. You can see where your pivot's at right here on the map. You can see where it's at, which direction it's going, how far it's moved in 24 hours. You can see your flow rates. You can check your pressures, make sure everything looks all right. So in one stop, you can see the status not only of the moisture for your crop, but also the status of your equipment. Everything's working fine. It's working the way it should be. You can quickly go through one field to the next, check this all out. So as we go on here, we've got some data. This is where I think those watermarks really shine. I think there's a lot of value in the watermarks. Like I said, we still offer the capacitance, but this is something you can see with the watermarks that you're not going to get from the capacitance, and that's going from the cinebars, which is what it's reading. This is meaningless to you unless you've been working with it, and that's okay. You don't need to look at this. We keep this here for the nerds to look at so they can see what's going on with the cinebars. If you're going over here, though, what we've done, we've taken the cinnabar readings, and then we've basically used the tables, used the university-produced calibrations to go from what these cinnabar readings are showing versus how many inches of water are available in your texture of soil, how many inches of water are still there, how many inches are depleted, and then you have your percentage, and your percentage is just a quick way. If you're a grower, you can scroll down here, you can just look at this percent, say 87, green, I'm good, don't need to turn the pivot on today. A lot of growers, that's all they really want. They don't necessarily want to see all this. In fact, we even have an option you can click to make this all go away, just show you all of these. If you want to look a little bit more in depth, if you're the agronomist for the field, if you really want to dig into that, you can see those actual numbers. You can see how much moisture each layer of the soil can hold, how much you already have. You've got the graph. Now you're looking at the phone. Remember, this is a phone you're looking at here. So on the phone, you're not going to see a real zoomed-in detailed graph because we can only fit so much on there. You bring this up on the laptop, though, or even the iPad, you're going to see your rain data from your rain bucket. You're going to see your moisture from each of those levels, usually 4, sometimes 3. And you're going to see your overall sum line down at the bottom here. This is nice if you really want to dig in and see what level your roots have reached, if you're having any issues with some compaction zones or anything that's restricting the water motion. These graphs are really good for digging into what's really happening in your layers of soil. A lot of growers aren't as interested in these. What they really want to see is that number up at the top. But this is here because we've got some growers that are very technologically advanced and very interested in the science, and we've got some who just need the quick recommendation that they say, just boil it down and give me the quick thing. So we're giving both to you here in the look. As we go down, we've also bring in the nearest evapotranspiration data from the nearest evapotranspiration weather station that is to the field. So this is something where this is being measured in some nearby places, but we recognize that even if you have a field and you've got a great evapotranspiration weather station 10 miles down the road, I've gone from river valley ground up to some higher hills, and I can tell you right there that the evapotranspiration might be double in this field what it is in this other one that's only 3-4 miles away. So what we're moving to towards with the evapotranspiration data is actual in-field measurements of that, and that would go along with that weather solution I talked about earlier. Something that it might not be as precise as a $10,000 weather station, but it's in your actual field. And in a lot of cases, it's more important to be getting that local measurement of that evapotranspiration. It's important to be getting that for your actual field in your actual area, because even the pivots that are running, the humidity, the cloud cover, all that's going to affect it. So we're trying to get this as local as possible, and this is something that we're going to be really making a push to improve in following years here. So as we go along here, device notes, we have a lot of fields that have profilers in them, that we also have agronomists scouting the field, crop consultants out there making recommendations. When they make a recommendation on their scouting software, it comes into here automatically. So just like we don't think a grower should have to log into 10 different apps or websites to view it, we don't expect our agronomists to fill out the same information over and over on different forms. So when they put that into Field X, that actually syncs right over here. Growth stage, irrigation recommendations, just other notes about the field, it all comes in here. The grower can put notes in if they want. It's a real flexible system here. So, and those notes actually do even show up on the graph, kind of when those notes were made.